The goal of this lesson is to get familiar with the options available in the Adobe InDesign application through the creation of a flyer. Work in a new document begins with setting up the document. There are two ways to do this. The first is by selecting the menu File, New Document, and the second is using the universal shortcut for most programs, i.e., Ctrl+N. When opening a new document, basic settings can be adjusted in the window shown in the following image. The basic settings refer primarily to selecting for which type the product is intended, web, print, or mobile. Number of pages, pages. Facing pages, facing pages. Facing pages are used when laying out books, newspapers, magazines. Page size, page size. The page can be formatted either manually or automatically, i.e., it depends on whether the required page format is available in the standard sizes or needs to be formatted differently, i.e., by entering the value for width, or height, Page orientation, orientation. The orientation of the page depends on the selected page format. Number of columns on the page, columns number. Spacing between columns, columns gutter. Margin sizes, margins. If facing pages are selected, then margins are top, bottom, inside, outside, and if not, the margins are top, bottom, left, right. If during the initial setup you want to define bleed values and slug areas for entering additional parameters, they need to be activated. These can also be either top, bottom, inside, outside, or top, bottom, left, right. Sometimes it's necessary to save the settings to speed up the creation of a new document. A good example of this would be books or newspapers. Saving the settings is done via Save Document Preset, after which the saved settings can be opened in Preset Details by clicking on the tab. Measurement units can be set by selecting the Units option. If working with an already used document, that document is opened either with File/Open or the Ctrl+O shortcut. Since this is a print document of 2 A4 format pages in landscape orientation with margins of 12.7 mm and a bleed of 3 mm, the settings are shown below, as well as the selection of measurement units. InDesign allows for the customization of palettes, so if a user encounters misaligned icons, they can always return to the default settings or select a preferred workspace. Image frames are most commonly created using the rectangle frame tool, which quickly creates a regular-shaped frame into which the image will be inserted. Positioning image frames can be done manually or using the coordinate system. If using manual positioning, the selection tool should be used, though it's not a very precise method. On the other hand, positioning using the coordinate system is much more precise and is recommended. When an image frame is selected, Selection tool, a coordinate system appears at the top of the window. The first icon indicates the reference point, which is the point all changes will relate to. X and Y coordinates indicate the position of the reference point along the X and Y axis. The coordinate origin is preset in the upper left corner of the document, but can be changed. W and H represent the width and height of the image frame. As seen from the image below, the selected options in this case are X equals -3 mm, Y equals -3 mm, W equals 151 mm, H equals 82 mm. After drawing the frame, the image needs to be placed inside it. To insert the image, either the menu File/Place is used or the shortcut Ctrl+D. One of InDesign's specifics is working with images made easy through OPI, Open Prepress Interface. OPI allows low-resolution images to be displayed on pages, while during export to PDF, PS, or another format, the low-res images are replaced by original high-res images. This facilitates working within the program as it uses less RAM, making screen rendering faster. When inserting images, it's important to note which object is selected at the time. If a frame has been created and is still selected, and if the Replace Selected Items option is enabled, the image will be inserted into that frame whether it's empty or not. If this option is disabled, the software will wait for the user to indicate where the image should be inserted. Then, you must click on the workspace, and the image will be inserted there. If a frame was previously made and the option is disabled, clicking inside the frame will position the image inside it. Since InDesign uses OPI, images are not embedded at full resolution, but displayed in lower resolution than the original. In this lesson, the image chronobellaslika1.jpg is inserted into the corresponding frame. InDesign is not an image editing program, but it does contain effects that can be applied to the image and the image frame, thereby visually enhancing the layout. Right-clicking on the image opens a drop-down menu with many options, and by selecting Effects, another drop-down menu appears. The Transparency option allows you to change the opacity of the image. This is extremely useful when the image needs to be in the background and barely visible. In this case, transparency is increased, opacity decreased, and the image becomes more transparent. The following effects are Drop Shadow and Inner Shadow. The first applies a shadow to the image frame. Shadows can vary in intensity, length, angle, and color. This effect creates the illusion that the image is raised above the workspace. Inner shadow is the complete opposite. The effect creates the impression of the image being indented into the work area, so the paper casts a shadow on the image or object. The outer glow effect creates a glow around the image, which can also be of varying colors, sizes, and intensity. This creates the illusion that there is some lighting under the image or that the image is glowing. Similarly, the inner glow is the opposite, with the same options. Bevel and Emboss allows the image to be raised or indented into the workspace with a 3D appearance. The next options, Satin, Basic Dash, Directional Dash, and Gradient Feather, allow a smooth transition between the workspace and the image. All these effects are borrowed from image editing programs and can be combined and applied to the same image, providing a wide range of possibilities. The effects on this image were applied using the Transparency, Luminosity, and Directional Feather, Bottom, 5mm, options. The next step is to create another image frame that will be colored with a gradient swatch, x equals -3mm, y equals -3mm, w equals 151mm, h equals 216mm. Image frames, regardless of shape, can be colored or not, and the same applies to their edges. If we are talking only about coloring the frame, it must be selected, then the fill option must be chosen, and the swatches palette activated, followed by selecting the appropriate color. In this case, the frame needs to be filled with a black and white gradient. The new gradient swatch option allows the creation of a gradient transition from one shade to another or from one shade to transparency. In this example, a linear gradient type was selected, and the black and white colors were chosen to form the gradient. The location where the second color will begin is 50%. Applying shades is done by selecting the object and double-clicking the desired swatch or the desired color/shade icon. Colors can always be applied to both the frames and the elements contained within the frame. The Arrange option allows spatial arrangement of objects along the virtual z-axis, which is normal to the XY plane. The Gradient Swatch tool can also be used to change the direction of the gradient, as seen in the image below. The Arrange option was used to send the colored frame behind the black and white image. Below Image 1, a new image frame should be created. X equals -3mm, Y equals 100mm, W equals 151mm, H equals 70mm. Using the Swatches palette, black color was applied to the selected frame. Another image frame needs to be created below the black colored frame. X equals -3mm, Y equals 170mm, W equals 151 millimeters, H equals 43 millimeters. Using the swatches palette, black color was applied to the selected frame, but at 10% intensity. The tint option allows the creation of a shade with a specific color percentage, where tint represents the strength of the coloring. At 100%, the color is strong, and it decreases to 0%. For example, if the tint is at 100% for the black color, it is black, but at 50%, it is gray, and at 0%, it is white. Writing text in InDesign is specific, as all text must be written in text frames, as the program was designed based on the analogy of the old method of manually laying out text and images, which can be in both regular and irregular shapes. Text frames are most often created using the Type tool, which quickly provides a regular-shaped text frame. Another way to create a text frame is using the rectangle, ellipse, polygon tool, pencil, or pen tool. Above the black-colored frame, a text frame needs to be created. X equals 12.7 millimeters, Y equals 105 millimeters, W equals 125, 3 millimeters, H equals 37.2 millimeters. Text input can be done through the File/Place menu or using the keyboard shortcut Ctrl+D. For the text frame, insert the text. The 125cc sports bike class is where riding experiences begin. The selected text can be colored using the swatches option, but since a new color needs to be added, use the new color swatch option. The color mode allows for the selection of a wide range of different color palettes, with Pantone Plus Solid Coated used for this task. Within the Pantone Plus Solid Coated palette, there are a variety of colors. The Pantone Yellow 012C color is selected, and by clicking OK, it is added to the existing colors. After that, the color needs to be applied to the selected text. By accessing the text menu, the font type and size can be chosen. It is important that the letter A in the upper left corner, character formatting controls is active, as well as the font size, and leading. There are also options to adjust superscript, superscripts, or subscript, as well as underlining, underline, and strike through. The space between characters is adjusted using the tracking option, and the distance from the baseline is adjusted with baseline shift. In this example, the text will be formatted with the following parameters: font, bondschrift/regular, font size, 15 points, leading, 18 points, tracking, 20, alignment, centered. Text styles are divided into two groups: paragraph styles, paragraph style, and character styles, character style. Paragraph style refers to an entire paragraph of text, while character style refers only to a part of it. By activating the paragraph styles palette, the formatted text can be converted into a new style. The formatted text appearance can be seen in the image below. Below the mentioned frame, a text frame should be created. X equals 12.7 millimeters, Y equals 120 millimeters, W equals 125.3 millimeters, H equals 22.5 millimeters. Insert the text. For the vast majority of new riders, whether on road or on the race circuit, these machines are the first step on a path that could lead anywhere. The CBR 125 RS race-ready good look, breathtaking performance, and exceptional control provide a quick and easy entry into the real motorbike supersport. The bike has all the qualities of a superbike on the racetrack. The inserted text should be selected, and by choosing the swatches option, the text should be turned white. After coloring the text, format it with the following parameters: font, bondschrift/regular, font size, 9 points, leading, 10.8 points, alignment, centered. By activating the paragraph styles palette, the formatted text is converted into a new style. Below the formatted text, a text frame should be created. X equals 12.7 millimeters, Y equals 145.25 millimeters, W equals 70 millimeters, h equals 20 millimeters. Insert the text. Acceleration. Cornering. Control. The inserted text should be colored Pantone Yellow 012C using the swatches option. After coloring the text, format it with the following parameters: font, bondschrift/regular, font size, 15 points, leading, 18 points, tracking, 20, alignment, left block. By activating the Paragraph Styles palette, the formatted text is converted into a new style. To the right of the formatted text, a frame for an image should be created. X equals 85.5 millimeters, Y equals 139 millimeters, W equals 52.5 millimeters, H equals 29 millimeters. In the mentioned image frame, insert the vector image racetrack.ai. Click Open. You can see result. Below the vector image racetrack.ai, another image frame should be created. X equals 85.5 millimeters, Y equals 176.75 millimeters, W equals 52.5 millimeters, H equals 27.25 millimeters. In the mentioned image frame, insert the photography with using File/Place. Insert the vector image Honda_logo.ai. You can see result. The inserted vector image needs to be adjusted to the frame using the fitting option, which is used to fit the image to the frame or vice versa. If the image is too large for the given frame, the frame can be adjusted to fit the content, fit content to frame, or the frame can be adjusted to the image, fit frame to content. Additionally, the image can be proportionally centered within the frame, fit content proportionally, or the frame can be adjusted proportionally to the image, fill frame proportionally. In this case, it was chosen to adjust the image proportionally to the frame. Since there are visible white edges around the image, they need to be removed so the white borders do not appear against the gray background. The clipping path option is used for this purpose. By opening the clipping path, select the Detect Edges option, which will automatically remove the white edges around the vector image. To the right of the vector image Honda_logo.ai, a text frame should be created. X equals 12.7 millimeters, Y equals 187 millimeters, W equals 45 millimeters, H equals 10 millimeters. In the text frame, insert the text www.honda.com. The text frame can be further adjusted using the text frame options, which are activated by right-clicking or using the shortcut Ctrl+B. This option allows the existing text frame to be formatted. In the columns option, the number of columns in the active text frame can be changed, where gutter represents the space between them, and width is the width of the frame itself. Additionally, the inset spacing option adjusts how far the text will be from the edges of the text frame, and whether the same value will apply to all sides or just one. Vertical alignment can also be adjusted using this option. For vertical alignment, we will apply the bottom alignment to the text frame. To create links, the Hyperlinks palette needs to be included. It is located under Window, Interactive, Hyperlinks. After the Hyperlinks palette appears, select the object or letter/word/sentence you want to convert into a link and proceed to create a new hyperlink. After selecting the text, create a new link by clicking on the icon in the Hyperlinks palette or by choosing New Hyperlink from the drop-down menu in the Hyperlinks palette. After the Hyperlinks palette appears, select the object or letter/word/sentence you want to convert into a link and proceed to create a new hyperlink. After selecting the text, create a new link by clicking on the icon in the Hyperlinks palette or by choosing New Hyperlink from the drop-down menu in the Hyperlinks palette. In this option, you can set the link name, so that the link can be identified for future use. Then, you need to set the destination or the target of the link. The first thing to define is the type of hyperlink. It can be a page type, where you need to define which document the hyperlink refers to. If the hyperlink type is set to text anchor, it means the hyperlink in the document refers to a word in the document itself. For this, you need to first create an anchored text or define the hyperlink destination with a name, which will later be referenced when creating the hyperlink. This is done in the main hyperlinks window, not the new hyperlink window, where after selecting the text or part of the text, a drop-down menu appears, and you choose the option New Hyperlink Destination. Also, the URL, Uniform Resource Locator, hyperlink type can be selected, which allows you to create a hyperlink pointing to an external document located on a server. In this case, a URL field appears where you need to enter the full information, such as http://www.honda.com. The appearance group defines how the hyperlink will look in the PDF document. Type refers to the surface that will behave like a button above the hyperlink, and by clicking it, the hyperlink will be activated. Its surface can be an invisible rectangle or a visible one, invisible rectangle, and visible rectangle. Highlight defines how the hyperlink will behave when activated. When exporting to PDF, the hyperlinks option should be included to create links in the PDF document. In this task, a URL hyperlink type will be used. On the right side, a frame for an image should be created. X equals 148 millimeters, Y equals -3 millimeters, W equals 151 millimeters, H equals 216 millimeters. The selected frame is filled using the place option. With the image1.jpg, you can see the result. The inserted image is not fully adjusted to the frame, so additional adjustment is made using the fitting/fit content proportionally option. As seen, there are gaps in the image frame, so using the direct selection tool, the image is enlarged. All gaps in the image frame have been filled. Using the same option, the image can be moved, and the desired detail is positioned. A new text frame is created at position X equals 153 millimeters, Y equals 12.7 millimeters, W equals 80 millimeters, H equals 50 millimeters, and the text Honda CBR 125R is inserted. The inserted text needs to be formatted with the following parameters: font, Bondschrift/regular, font size, 45 points, leading, 54 points, alignment, left block. The formatted text needs to be colored Pantone Red 032C using the swatches/new color swatch option. This color is obtained by opening the Pantone Plus solid coded color palette. Then, the appropriate color Pantone Red 032C is selected within it. The result is visible. The transition to the second page begins with drawing a line, X 12.7 millimeters, Y 20.814 millimeters, L 128 millimeters, 2 points, using the line tool. A new text frame is placed at position X equals 12.7 millimeters, Y equals 9 millimeters, W equals 128 millimeters, H equals 9.167 millimeters. And the text, the CBR 125R series, is inserted. The inserted text needs to be formatted according to the following parameters: font, Bondschrift/regular, font size, 15 points, leading, 18 points, alignment, left align. The text frame can be further adjusted using the text frame options, which can be accessed by right-clicking or using the shortcut Ctrl+B. Using this option, the existing text frame can be formatted. In the columns option, the number of columns in the active text frame can be changed, with gutter representing the space between them and width representing the frame's width. Additionally, using the inset spacing option, the distance from the text to the edges of the text frame can be adjusted, and whether this value applies to all sides or just one. Vertical alignment can also be adjusted using this option. In this case, vertical alignment set to bottom was applied. The result can be seen in the screen. A new text frame is placed at position X equals 12.7 millimeters, Y equals 24.167 millimeters, W equals 128 millimeters, H equals 30 millimeters. The text, the Honda CBR 125R is a 125 cubic centimeters four-stroke engine sport bike made by Honda. The CBR 125R first appeared on the market in 2004. It is manufactured in Thailand alongside the CBR 150R, the latter for the Far East market, is then inserted. The selected text must be formatted according to the following parameters: font, bond schrift/regular, font size, 12 points, leading, 14.4 points, alignment, full justify, with last left line. The formatted text needs to be converted into a new style. Another line, X 12.7 millimeters, Y 54 millimeters, L 128 millimeters, 1 point, must be drawn using the line tool. A new text frame is placed at position X equals 12.7 millimeters, Y equals 43 millimeters, W equals 128 millimeters, H equals 9.167 millimeters. In this frame, the text, models from 2004 to 2006, is inserted and formatted according to the following parameters: font, bond schrift/regular, font size, 15 points, leading, 18 points, alignment, left align. Below the line, a frame for an image, X equals 25 millimeters, Y equals 57 millimeters, W equals 45 millimeters, H equals 38 millimeters, is created. In this frame, the image 2.jpg is inserted using the Place option. Choose Image and click Open. You can see result. Since the inserted image is larger than the image frame, it must be fitted to the frame using the Fitting/Fit Content Proportionally option. An image frame with the same dimensions, W equals 45 millimeters, H equals 38 millimeters, is placed at position X equals 76.7 millimeters, Y equals 57 millimeters. In this frame, the image 3.jpg is inserted using the Place option. Click Open. You can see result. To ease the process and prevent repeating the same functions, the two image frames, text frame, and line are selected. The selected group is copied using Ctrl+C and Ctrl+V, with the initial Y value set to 95 millimeters for the first group and 147 millimeters for the second group. The initial value refers to the starting position of the text frame. Since the text formatting has already been completed, only the text, models from 2004 to 2006, is replaced with models from 2007 to 2009. This replacement is done by selecting the text from another Word document using Ctrl+C. Then, the text in the text frame is selected, and the Paste option, Ctrl+V, is applied. The next step is to replace the content in the image frames. In the first frame, image 2 is replaced with image 4.jpg. In the second frame, image 3 is replaced with image 5.jpg. Since the text formatting has already been completed, the text, models from 2004 to 2006, will also be replaced with models from 2007 to 2009. This replacement is done by selecting the text from another Word document using Ctrl+C. Then, the text in the text frame is selected, and the Paste option, Ctrl+V, is applied. The next step is to replace the content in the image frames. In the first frame, image 2 is replaced with image 6.jpg. In the second frame, image 3 is replaced with image 7.jpg. A text frame is created in the upper right corner with coordinates X equals 224.3 millimeters and Y equals 12.7 millimeters, with dimensions W equals 60 millimeters and H equals 34.883 millimeters. In this text frame, the following text is inserted. The R in the name of this bike means it has racing styling, and this is a sporty-looking bike that many of us dream of having as our first 125 cubic centimeters machine for the road. The inserted text is formatted using Style 4. A second text frame is created to the right with coordinates x equals 224.3 millimeters and y equals 52.417 millimeters, with dimensions w equals 60 millimeters and h equals 9.167 millimeters. In this newly created text frame, the text front profile is inserted. The inserted text is formatted using Style 4. Below the front profile text, a frame for an image is created with coordinates x equals 224.3 millimeters and y equals 64.5 millimeters, with dimensions w equals 60 millimeters and h equals 60 millimeters. In this image frame, image 8.jpg is inserted using the place option. Image 7.jpg is imported. Since the image is not fitted to the frame, the fitting option is used. The last inserted text frame and image should be selected and copied. The starting position for the copied elements is at y-coordinate 125.217 millimeters. The text and image should be replaced with the corresponding elements. Thus, the text front profile is replaced with back profile by using the copy/paste option. The image 8 is replaced with image 9.jpg using the place option. Click Open. You can see result. A new text frame with dimensions w equals 80 millimeters and h equals 216 millimeters is inserted at position x equals 142.353 millimeters and y equals -3 millimeters. The newly created text frame is colored black at 20% opacity using the swatches option. The text Honda CBR 125R is inserted into the frame with the following settings: font, bond schrift/regular, font size, 45 points, leading, 54 points, alignment, left align, color, Pantone Red 032C. Using the text frame box option, the inserted text is vertically centered. Finally, the inserted text is also horizontally centered. After finishing the work, the document will be exported and converted to a PDF file. The export is done using the export option or Ctrl+E. Since a hyperlink was used on the first page, that option must be enabled. The exported document can be opened in Adobe Acrobat or Reader. The hyperlink functionality is tested by clicking on it.